Your attention, please.
I'll turn it up a little bit.
Alright, can everybody hear me? Sorry, it's a little. Ooh. More? Okay. Hello. Alright. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming. If some of you guys don't know us, this is Sole, and I'm Cruz. We're Frank's grandchildren. So again, thank you guys for coming out. We really appreciate everybody showing up and showing your love for us. So we're gonna move on to a slideshow Sole made. So we'll watch through that a little bit, and then we'll move on to some speeches and the eulogy and stuff like that. So we'll get ahead started. We're gonna set this up real quick. Get started with that slideshow. Thank you guys. Oh, yes. Can we get the lights turned down a little bit? Por favor. Somebody? I don't know how to do that. We can have disco lights too.
Is there an electrician here?
What?
There it is.
Thank you.
That makes it better.
You gotta turn back on the music though. Go hit that thing out of the... I hate that photo.
When you take the video,
Chrissy. Lights, please. The lights.
Okay, the lights can come back on. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, so now I guess I'll be doing the eulogy. Yeah. So. Alright. Huh? Oh. Okay, so. Apologies for the chaotic writing too, my bad. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cruz, and it is with heavy yet grateful heart that I stand before you today to honor and remember the remarkable life of my grandfather, Frank. Frank was a man of many faces, caring, giving, wise, and today I have the privilege, though bittersweet, to share with you the essence of his character, his profound impact on those around him, and the void his absence leaves in our hearts. Frank was born on Jason Street in North Denver on May 3rd, 1946, which, as he liked to say, is now under the I-25. He was born to Guadalupe and Isidoro Castro, who moved here to the U.S. from Guanajuato, Mexico in 1920. He was the last of 16 kids that spanned over the course of 23 years. Papi attended Brian Webster Elementary, where he met James Picasso and Gary Prado, two of his lifelong friends. He then attended Horseman Middle School, and he was the head boy, and he was proud to be a part of the safety patrol at Horseman. He won first place in the City Marble Tournament. He also attended the annual Junior High School Summer Leadership Conference in September of 1960. He also received a baseball scholarship to attend Holy Family High School, but turned it down to attend North High School. At North, Papi really enjoyed his high school years, especially the sports. He played track, basketball, and football. In football, he played as a fullback, which recently we were asking questions about his life, and one of them was what he would have wanted to be. And his dream was to be a football player as a fullback. He was also in the choir, and he played the drums in the band, and he received the R.M. Patterson Scholarship for the 1965 to 66 to be used at any college or university of his choice. Along the way, he met Steve Montoya, Bob Hyatt, Albert Gallegos, John Gardino, Bill Bennett, James Picasso, Gary Prado, and Wayne Cole. He would have Friday lunches with his friends, which was his tradition every week. After graduating high school in 1964, he worked construction and at a cement factory in the summer before attending college. And this was the last time he wore jeans. He never wore them again. He created his famous saying, "I will never lift anything heavier than a pen," who then he told all of his nieces and nephews, grandchildren, and anyone he came across. He then attended Trinidad State College on a football scholarship, where he unfortunately was injured, which ended his football career. He lived above a mortuary, and him and his friends fed themselves by crashing weddings on the weekends. He then transferred to Metropolitan State College, and then eventually graduated from the University of Colorado with a BA in sociology, and then went to get his master's in urban and regional planning in the University of Colorado, Denver, which focused on giving Mexican-American students the opportunity to attend college. He then worked at the Denver Housing Authority and managed many different housing developments before working at a nonprofit for housing program to help low-income people buy houses. He was also the director at Southwest Community Center, and then he went to work on what he would like to say is one of the axles of evil, the insurance industry. Starting at Allstate Insurance, and then he became an insurance broker at Castro Insurance Agency, where he returned to the north side, where he met plenty of clients who turned into lifelong friends. Frank was the embodiment of selflessness. He gave his Letterman jacket to his brother-in-law when he started his job in construction, and he didn't have his own warm jacket. This gesture was just a glimpse into Frank's generous spirit. He nursed his sibling and mother through illness, always providing a shoulder to lean on for his kids and grandkids and anyone he came across. Frank was a fountain of sage advice, urging everyone to pursue education, famously insisting that he would never lift anything heavier than the pen. After shifting from construction work to academia, his advocacy for education was not just talked, he lived it, embodying the potential for transformation through knowledge. Frank's strides in various fields were remarkable. His union with Helen Chavez in 1973, after meeting at the university, was a cornerstone of his life. Together they welcomed Lorraine, Kaiser, and Francisco, enriching Papi's life with family love. His achievements ranged from leadership roles during his school years, achievements in sports, choir, and the band, to academic accomplishments including the BA in sociology and Masters in urban and regional planning. Frank's life was a testament of leadership, commitment, and community service to everyone. Discussing Frank's hobbies unveils the richness of his personality, his love for chronically his life and achievements, his passion for hiking, and his curiosity for learning were infectious. Frank's adventures from the mountains to the museums, his travels around the globe, and his venerable tradition of Friday lunches with his lifelong friends painted the picture of a man who cherished life's simple pleasures. His tales and his treasures, Frank had a way of making history come alive, making every shared moment a cherished memory. His love for travel took him and his beloved Helen to places far and wide, from China to France to numerous states in the U.S. to visit family. Frank cherished his hobbies, revealing the joy of sharing stories from his life, showcased through the extensive collection of pictures, newspaper articles, and even the map that he would bring out every time you asked him about it. His love for hiking brought him closer to nature and his family, leading adventures to the mountains and sometimes disappearing, only to be found somewhere randomly where he couldn't find him for a while. Frank's philosophies and sayings, notably his advice for education and his determination to live a life to intellect rather than toil, resonated deeply with all who knew him. His belief in power of education and the pursuit of passion were guiding principles that he lived and inspired others to follow. The revelation of Frank's collection of National Geographics, spanning 48 years, showcased his insatiable curiosity about the world. I will always remember every time I asked him about something in the wild. He came and brought another National Geographic book, and somehow he had them all. Frank's impact on those around him were immeasurable. He was a caretaker and an advisor, a pillar of support, and so much more. His departure leaves an unfillable void, not only in the family sphere, but also in the communities he touched around. As we gather to bid adieu to Frank, what we will miss most is his unparalleled ability to listen, his role as a rock in all of our lives, his humor, his quick wit, and his sarcastic humor, his steadfast presence from the random moments of nostalgia and shared adventures to the silent acts of kindness and support. Papi's legacy is one of love, wisdom, and giving. In bidding farewell to Papi, we are reminded of the beauty of life, the importance of family, and the power of leaving positive imprint on the world. Papi's journey may have concluded, but his stories, values, and his love live on with us. Let's carry forward the torch of Papi's legacy, illuminating the lives of those around us with the same warmth, love, and wisdom he shared so generously to all of us. Thank you, Papi, for everything. You may have left our sight, but you forever remain in our hearts. Thank you all for being here to celebrate the life of a truly remarkable man, my Papi Frank. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to introduce all the grandchildren, so if you guys want to come up here. Grandchildren, come over. So if you guys don't know us, all of us, these are the grandchildren of Frank. So we have little Bobby. Next comes me, Cruz, Soleil, Ayana, then Anaya, and little Peanut, Kenzie. So yeah, that's us. I guess we can move on to some speeches, so if anybody wants to come up and say some words, you're more than welcome to. So if anybody wants to come up and say a couple words, go right ahead.
My name is Sam Castro. I'm one of the many Castros here today. I'm not going to stay up here and say a whole lot. I just want to know how I'm going to get my calendar next Christmas. So,
I got you.
but I got me covered. And I would like to say a few things. My uncle was always very, I was just talking to my cousin here, he's kind of a flatliner. He was never too high, he was never too low, he was always the same way. I'd come over and talk to him and tell him a little bit about my brothers. You know, Uncle Frank, my brothers, they're driving me crazy about one thing or another. And he goes, your brothers? How do you think I feel about my brothers? But I know one thing I won't miss, and I spoke with Ed Helen about this the other day, is I won't miss the phone calls that he had to make about his own siblings. That was always a very hard call. But Ed Helen said he took that very serious when he had to call each and every one of us. So with that, you're gone, but not forgotten.
Hi everyone. I'm Stephanie, Frank's niece. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get through this, but I'm going to read a scripture because Uncle Frank was really into scripture. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. That's Timothy 2, verse 4, 7 through 8. And he kept the faith. And I spent a lot of time with him in the past few months, praying with him, talking with him. And I would bring him the Holy Eucharist, I'm an extraordinary minister at Guadalupe. And he had not been practicing his Catholic faith for a long time, but he loved me. He loved me a lot. And when I would bring the host to him, he was very open. He didn't ever resist. And he knew that it was important to me, and he still was rooted in that faith. And he reminds me a lot of my grandma. She always cared about others. And here was my uncle laid up, and I was talking to him and crying, and he whispers to me, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And I told him, and he said, "It'll be okay." He said, "It'll be okay." And he was like my grandma. My poor little grandma couldn't talk, but she was always caring about others, and that was my Uncle Frank. And thinking about the last days, he fought the good fight, and he kept the faith. And he let me pray the rosary with him. And there were moments that we would be praying, and he would do the sign of the cross, and I could see him praying with me. And then the last round, I did a lot of rosaries with him, but the last round of rosaries, there was a lot of commotion going on in the kitchen and in the dining room, and he was like, and I was doing this rosary that was kind of loud. I had pulled it up on one of my apps, and he goes, I go, "Okay, enough?" And he goes, I said, "Okay, I'll stop." But he wasn't really stopping me. He wanted to know what was going on. But he was so generous to let me pray with him. And I told him the same way I told my mom, that when he transitions, to the next life to look for my mom, first of all. But I know he's looking for his mom first. I know he was. But I told him to look for Our Lady of Guadalupe because she was so near and dear to him. And I think because his mother was Guadalupe, I think that was his mother. And I told him in the same way I told my mom, look for Our Lady of Guadalupe. She's going to take you to Jesus, who's going to take you to the Father, to our Creator. So I reconciled with that, and I knew he was transitioning and his family would be welcoming him. So he kept the faith, he fought the good fight, he stood in the race until the very end. And I am privileged to have been with him during that time. Thank you.
I just want to thank everybody, all the visitors that Frank got. It gave him so much joy. People were afraid to come because they didn't want to make him tired make him tired. But he really perked up and enjoyed all of the visits. His buddies would come. I don't know if that's a good word. It's an old word, like us old people. His buddies would come in a group and visit with him the Friday afternoon bunch. And I've always joked that I could never die on Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock because that would interfere with his lunch. And the thing is it wouldn't interfere with his lunch. He would just come later. So I would really like for some of his friends to at least come up and say a few words because he really loved them and he really enjoyed their visits. So one of you's Jackie, could you come and tell your story too?
They told me to say something nice, and I said, well, it's going to be short. Oh no, that was nice for the group. Frank was always the better one of the group. You know, unfortunately, we couldn't get along without Frank because anytime we wanted to know where we were supposed to be for lunch, Frank was the anchor. We had to call him, so we were always calling him. I don't think he got any business done because we were so busy. But the whole group, we've known Frank, some of us 60, 70 years, 75 years. Now I'm only 62, so I didn't know him that long. And actually, I'm the Johnny-come-lately of the group because when I came down from Leadville in the early 50s, the first person I met was, of course, my cousin Albert, and then James Picasso, and then Frank Castro. And I said, who's this Castro? And he said, well, he's one of many. And sure enough, there were a lot of Castros down there. But our group meets, or tries to meet at 1:30 every Friday. But actually we start at 1:45 because Frank would show up with James, always 15 minutes late. So we try to tell him early, but we never did get started early. But we had a group of 6 or 7 or 8, up sometimes 10 people. We're down to 4 or 5 that come all the time. Frank has always been the anchor, as I said. He kept in touch with everybody. It didn't matter if you were in Montana, New York, California. He seemed on everything that was going on. But between Frank and James, that was the core group, and then the rest of us kind of fell in with that group. And like I said, we've known each other since the early 1950s. I know some of you younger folks don't understand that. You know, you can't think back prior to what, 1980? Some of you, maybe even 90s, I don't know. Frank, from the time we were at Brian Webster, he was always the leader of the group. And he continued that throughout all the phases. You know, the group came and went. We all went in different directions.
We all had different things going on in life, but we came back together, and it was like we were never apart. And I think some of you can understand that. You haven't seen somebody for 10 or 15 or 20 years, and it's like you've never been apart. Again, Frank was always interested in everyone. And I know Helen said that when he'd come home from work, he'd talk about one of his clients and talk about the whole family, everything they did. But it was the same thing with us. He knew everything that was going on in all of our lives. He knew Albert's granddaughter was a champion wrestler. He knew what Bob Hyatt was doing in his art. All of us. He was always interested. And it's rare in today's society to have someone who cares that much. And I can see and I can attest to how lucky Helen is and the rest of the family. Anyway, an ode to Frank Castro. By the way, he told me, my name's not Frank, it's Cruz Francisco. He said, it's something like that. He said, I didn't even know my name wasn't Frank until later on in life. It's all the same. Thank you very much. And Helen, anything we can do for you, we appreciate it. Amen.
Yeah. Give me a moment. Oh my God. My name's Lorraine, and I miss my dad so much. It was sad. I mean, all my family came and see me, and a couple of my friends over there, and the Cabot family, and all my family here, and Daddy family, and my mommy, I love her so much. Only one. And I love Aunt Patty so much.
All right.
And Nick.
Okay, Lorraine.
Everybody here.
We love you, Lorraine.
Thank you for coming.
I guess I'll go. First the grandchildren, since nobody else wants to. There's so many memories with Papi that I could go on forever. But one of the biggest ones that was just me and him for a while was he loves to take me to the museum, the Nature and Science Museum. We went probably a couple million times. Went and saw the same things over and over again. Read the same little pieces again and again. I probably went into the Mars exhibit and tried to park that the shuttle, and he would help me, and we never got it. But yeah, we would go and we would spend all day there, and then we would go into the little cafe behind the gift shop, and he would buy me a little crappy piece of pizza and Dippin' Dots. And he was always someone who was first at my games. He would either take me there from school, or he would meet me there. And no matter what, he was always the first one there. He would show up early. He came to all my performances, whether it was music, acting, whatever. Even my showcases for school. He was always there for them, and I'm gonna miss the presence of him there for future performances and games and stuff. But yeah, those are the two biggest things that I think I'm gonna miss, is taking the trips to the museum and going and seeing the same things over and over again, even though we know exactly what it says and nothing's changed. And he was sometimes a little too stubborn to buy the tickets for the new exhibits. But every once in a while we get the treat of the IMAX movies. But yeah, I'm gonna miss having him at my games and having him watch and showing his support for anything and everything that I did. Yeah, thank you, Papi, for that. So. And I am making everybody go to the museum because we're doing that again, and we're going to see the same things again. So. Sully's
I'm not sure if I have anything nice
nice to say about my puppy. I would like to say he was my #1 bully. Yeah. He used to pick on me first before any of the other grandchildren, but I was the target, so I have to say I will remember all of the funny things he would say and do. I think I'll miss the most is the silent car rides home. No music, no talking, maybe a little whistle here and there, but that's about it. But definitely, my puppy was a great man. He, again, like Chris said, was always there for us at games, school plays, school functions, literally anything. He was first there. I mean, he was always on time. No one else. So I definitely look for him first. And even towards the end, he would always be making fun of me. And, laying there just looking at me like, what are you doing? What are you doing to me? I'm like, I'm helping you up, Papi. But I think I don't know. There's so many memories I could pick from. It's gonna be hard to move on and go to my mama's house and not see him there, or sleeping, just taking a nap on the couch. But I think my biggest memory is us just hanging out in the car, doing nothing but just hanging in the car driving. Him yelling at me if I was driving, like he was in the car. He would always go, "Ay, ay, ay, ay." Oh, I'm slowing down. But definitely car memories are my favorite. That's all I have for now.
I was waiting for someone from my family to come say something, but it's always me. I'm Julie. I'm our whale, and Helen and Frank have been a part of our lives since day one. My mom is her sister, her daughter. My mom is her mom's auntie, but she always was like my auntie. Long story. Anyways, the thing I'm going to miss about, and I know all of us are going to miss, just shut Missy, is going to Leadville to camp. He camped with us on a regular basis, and we're going to miss him at those camp trips for sure. And another thing I'm going to miss is, he used to come to the restaurant I worked at, and all he did was complain. The potatoes, there's like no potatoes on this plate. It's $9, and I'm sorry. But he always left a good tip. Anyways, we're gonna miss him a lot, but we still have you guys. Okay.
Something I forgot to say is that I know a lot of you can relate to this, is him slipping you 20s. No matter what, like a little job that I did for him, whether it was picking up something at the house and taking it for him, or putting up the lights, or just coming over and dropping off something. No matter what, he would slip me a 20 and I would tell him no. And I was like, it's fine, like I don't need it. And he would just say, it's for gas, take it while I can. And I know he did that to a lot of people. He would walk up to you with a fist and you'd put it out your hand. He would have some money for either a trip or just for fun.
You didn't slip me any 20.
And also, he would also give us on our birthdays, however dollars and however many years we were. So if you were 20, you got a $20 bill, and so forth and so on. And we're gonna miss that, I know for sure. But yeah, anybody else have anything to say?
One thing real quick, everyone remembers his laugh. The most distinctive, awesome laugh. I'm gonna miss that the most.
I'd like to say that the first time I remember about Frank was when we went to the football games at North High. How many of you knew that Frank was quite a strong guy, and he was one heck of a football player? He was one of the first Chicanos that we had out there on the field that he made his mark. He was great, and so we'd go from North High, and we'd go in carloads, and we'd go down to South High Stadium where we play other schools. And I remember when things weren't going very good, we'd holler, "Put Frank in! Put Frank in!" So That's what I wanted to bring up because that's where I first met him. In later years, I worked for American Family Insurance, and he called me up and said, "Hey, I work for Allstate. Can I go ahead and refer somebody to you when I can't meet their needs?" I said, "Sure." And so that's how we started in the business relationship, referring clients to one another, not only to help each other as friends, but also to help those clients get their needs met. So Frank was always giving. He was that kind of guy, and I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here. You all know that. And so that's how I got to know him better in the latter years. But very proud to have been a friend of his. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Monica. I'm Kai's friend for years and years and years. She met me while I was dipping my pizza in Fanta. It's okay. Papa and I had a really special relationship. I would go over and eat a lot. I would walk in, he'd be sitting there. I wouldn't really pay attention. I'd go straight to the refrigerator. He'd be like, "Can you say hi to me at least before you eat my food? I'm hungry." Wait, Kaisa, we gotta go. We gotta go. One time, Francisco was in a fight, or somebody came to get him. I don't know what happened, but Papa came out with tidy whities and his t-shirt. And I go, "Was it holy, Papa? Was it holy tidy whities, Papa?" So Papa was always the light of my, a journey. He let me take my driver's test in his maroon van. No, the maroon van, right? Mm-hmm. So he will always be just an angel that processed me and raised me, even though I wasn't his child, but he did his best. So Papa Smurf, I love you.
I don't really have specific memories of my grandpa, but I will always remember sitting in his office and pretending to give him money to buy things, and while they were at school, and then him making me pay my imaginary money for his suckers that I always wanted. He wouldn't let me get away with it, not once. And then sitting in the car and him just whistling away. But he was a light in my life, and I always hold him in my heart. And I will graduate from his school. And I will
You're going to North.
I am going to North like he did. And I will honor him, and he will always be there with me and watch me graduate. So thank you, Papi, for everything you did.
I'm recording.
Anybody else have anything? Oh,
I just want to thank everybody for being here. I just know he loved everybody so much. And that I didn't realize how much we were connected until I don't have him here to talk to you, to hug. But I know he left his Friday lunches, and I would come into work my once a week to hold down the fort while he went to his lunches for 3 hours. And so now I'm going to have to work every day now. Welcome to society. But I just won't have him there to ask questions and to
talk about politics. He loved to banter about what was going on in the world, and he'd read things on the internet, and he'd be like, Kaiser, did you know? I'm like, okay, Dad, whatever, just, listening to him, because he always had a story for everything. But I'm going to miss just his presence, his love. But thank you all for coming. He had a beautiful friendships and family, and I know he loved every single one of you guys in his own way. So thank you.
There's Papa.
All right, anybody else have anything else to say? Anybody else want to come up and say a few words?
How was the question?
Bobby.
Hey, everybody. So they call me Little Bobby, but I'm not Little Bobby. I mean, I'm just the only Bobby.
Yes, you are. Yes.
So, these kiddos here were gifted with this grandpa, and I was brought into the family, and he was an amazing grandpa. I mean, he taught me so much and didn't say anything. I get up every day and I go to work, and it's probably because I saw how devoted he was. Nothing lacked in that man. He was just awesome, and I wish I would have told him more how much I appreciated that to help me grow and be a good man out here. So, I'll miss you, Papi.
We still call you Bubba.
Hello, my name's Valerie Castro. I'm Uncle Frank's brother's granddaughter. My dad was Pete Jr. The best thing I loved about Uncle Frank is he was a very consistent man, and we all look up to him for that because he always stood his post. He was a good husband, a good father. He was good to everybody. Every time I talked to him, he remembered all my kids' names, and I just knew we could always go to Uncle Frank and Aunt Helen's house and we'd feel the love. I didn't grow up with the Castros, but every time I'm around them, it's like his friend said, you didn't miss a beat. They just love on you and show you what love's really about. And what I'm going to miss about him most is one time they had a thing for the Castros to all show their pictures and just share our stories of our lives. And I showed up a whole week early. I thought it was that day. And he's like, oh no, come in, we're gonna still do this. And it was like, I had my own relationship with him and Aunt Helen, and it was like they just took me in their home that day with my kids, and they just explained who all the Castros were, and I really got to know what my roots were. And Uncle Frank and Aunt Helen are the two people that make me so proud to be a Castro, because if I'm a mother like Aunt Helen and a dad like Uncle Frank, then I've done my part in this world. And I didn't go see him because I wanted to remember that. I wanted to remember his hospitality and how much you just felt loved without him having to say anything. And I thank you for that, Uncle Frank, and I'll see you someday again. Thank you.
Hi everyone, can you hear me back there? Perfect. I'm Christian. Just a couple memories from Uncle Frank. I mean, there's a lot of memories, but one thing I want to start off with Uncle Frank is just the example that he was for myself growing up. It was just looking at him, he was more, a father figure, a role model, someone to always look up to, be like, hey, that's where I need to be. I mean, maybe wearing the blue button up every day, but, that's exactly where I wanted it to be. And Cruz, I was one of the benefits of the gas money. So, and I say that jokingly, but to be honest, in my travels, he used to always say, well, it might get you there, it may not get you back, so at least I'm doing my part. And it did go a long way, and I was always very appreciative. I was like, hey, I could actually buy, some Reese's Pieces this week in college, so it helped out. And with Uncle Frank, though, I will say, he showed up to both my college graduations. He would always show up to random games, which I thought was just amazing, because I would look at my mom, and I see, of course, Uncle Frank there first with the whole family, and I'm like, how did he even know? Like, where's this communication line that? But he was always there and dressed to the T, as Uncle Frank was, and it was just always great to, have him, as, again, a role model and someone in the corner. So, great man, and that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Anybody else? No? Okay. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to Matt will be singing a song for us. And just as a little reminder from Aunt Vana, please sign the book. So yeah, please come up, Matt.
Hello. I'm gonna say some prayers and get this drum ready for this song.
You want to do them now? We were going to do that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not good at reading, but I can sing. But there's one memory that I always remember. My Uncle Frank said he went to work and it was like hard labor, for one day. He told me, he said, I devoted and I told myself that the heaviest thing that I'm going to pick up is this pen. And he went to school and got education, and that's all he did was pick up that pen. He didn't have to pick up a shovel or nothing. That hard work, he's like, I'm not doing that. Labor-wise, but he worked very hard for his family. I remember as a kid, I'll go over there a lot, every weekend. He'd let me tear up his house. He didn't say nothing. He'd let me, I think we rode Lorraine's wheelchair down the street, because, they live on a big hill. I think he let us do it like 2 or 3 times. He's like, oh, you guys are going to break that, put that up. But he always, let me come over. He never said no. So it's going to be missed greatly. So I'm going to do some prayers on this drum before I wake it up to sing him a song for his journey to the sky world. Thank you. This is a Native American prayer song to send them off in the best way I know how, is with this song. It's going to be loud, so.
That was amazing.
Thank you, Matt, for that. We also wanted to inform you guys about the cremation process that my Papi went through. It was a new, it's a new process, it's a new thing for us as a family, and pretty much new for a lot of processes. So we did a water cremation. So basically, they take Papi and they don't do any of the they do
Embalming.
Embalming, yes. So they don't do any of the embalming. They keep it natural. And so what we did was we went and we saw him for the last time, and we put him. We got to put him into basically a tube, and it filled with water, alkaline water. And so basically it broke down, and it took 18 hours for his body to basically decompose in that water. And then we were able to get his bones, and they were basically crushed. They weren't incinerated, so they were crushed into fine ashes, kind of like traditional ashes, but they're white. And then we were able to take the water that he was put in, and we, on yesterday, Thursday, we put him back into the yard, his house. So he went into all of our plants and the lawn that he tried to take care of for so many years, watered the trees, and he's also going to be, we're going to plant a tree in memory of him in the front yard, a maple tree specifically. We're also going to be making him into rocks and jewelry with the ashes that we got, which were a lot. Yeah, and this is the urn right here in this wooden tube, basically. But yeah, so it's a new process. There was, it's water and crushing of the bones. There's no incineration of any sort. And yeah, we were able to take the water and put it back into the yard, which, by the way, did not smell good. But yeah, so he's back into his house. He's in the lawn front and back, and he'll be growing all of his plants, all of our plants that we planted with Alma, and his hopefully green yard coming soon. And then also we're gonna do right now is a few of the poems that we did when we said goodbye to him. The grandchildren, the four of us. I can read. We did it right before we said goodbye to him for the final time. So all of the kids that did the poem the other day, please come up and we'll say those right now. Robert Gurule, where are you at?
We'll just start with the other ones.
Well, we're going to start with him.
This poem is called Cleansing Ritual. We bless this vessel that carried your spirit into this incarnation, this flawed and beautiful body that allowed you to love fiercely and to live fully. We know you are ready to release this tired and aching body, and with this water we allow you to let go. We cleanse you with our love, sending only love with you. Release any heaviness and any pain, any unfinished business. You are whole and cleansed now. Although our heartbreak is deep, our love is equally as deep. We release you to the winds and to the waters, and we know that you are no longer inhibited by your physical body. Now you are free. You can speak with us at any moment, living on in our love, as close to us as our own heartbeat. This one is called Water Cremation Blessing. From waters all life arises. Mother of waters, father of rain, you have taken back your own. As a stream flows into a river, as a river flows into the sea, may Papi's spirit flow to the waters of healing, to the waters of rebirth. Beloved one, you are not alone. We are here with you. The beloved dead await you. You go from love into love. You carry with love, only love. May our love carry you and open the way.
Okay, this one is called Ritual Body Blessing. We bless your hair that the wind has played with. We bless your brow with your brilliant thoughts and curious mind. We bless your eyes that have beheld beauty and wept with pain, that have looked on us with love. We bless your ears that brought music into your soul and our voices into your heart. We bless your nostrils, the gateway of breath. We bless your neck and throat. We will remember your voice. We bless your shoulders that have borne burdens and strength.
We'll just finish it.
We bless your arms that have embraced us, held us when we felt weak. We bless your hands that have shaped wonders. We bless your heart that loved us. We bless your ribs and lungs that sustained your life. We bless your belly, sacred storehouse of the body. We bless your thighs, strong foundations. We bless your knees that knelt at sacred altars. We bless your legs that carried you. We bless your feet that walked your own path through life. Thank you.
Is that it? So just say thank you.
It is not over. Please stay, and I think there's still plenty of food, and visit with people that you rarely ever see and enjoy this time. But again, thank you for all the love that you have given to Frank and to us as a family. I couldn't ask for better friends and family and people that have come out and touched our hearts and helped us get through this difficult time. So
again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Hey, girl. Wow, I don't know what to, there's not enough words to say how grateful and thankful that you were in Frank's life and in our lives now. I've met a lot of people that I didn't know, and we love you all. Thank you very much.